Alright guys, welcome back to Conquer and Commander. Today we're going to be looking at a game feature on my Nin the Pain Artist deck. For the complete deck list, go to puremtgo.com, look up my article series Conquer and Commander, you should see it there. I'll also have a link to the deck list in this video description as soon as the article goes up as well. Nin's a fun little person that likes to probe and prod you based upon her art. So let's take a look at our opponents here real quick. First up, we've got Merieke Ri Berit, and she's usually some form of Esper control. Sometimes you can see her with a decent amount of untappers, like Thousand Year Elixir and stuff like that, so she can steal and destroy multiple creatures. I've played against this guy a couple times in the past, and he likes to play like wheel-type decks. You know, decks where you end up wheeling away a bunch of cards and stuff like that for fun and profit. So I haven't seen an Esper version from him. I was interested to see what he brought to the table. After her, we've got Zedruu the Greathearted, likes to donate stuff that you don't want. This person takes a little bit of a different tact with that, but still kind of goes that route. So we'll see what Zedruu brings. After Zedruu, we've got Jenara, usually some sort of Bant, good stuff kind of deck. You know, she's a big flying beater, so that's good. I mean, and she can get real big if you leave her alone, but usually they've got so much other good stuff going on that Jenara isn't a main part of the game plan. So let's take a look at my hand. Right now I've got 4 lands plus Thassa and Charisma, which is awesome on Nin and Cyclonic Rift. So this is a good hand for me. I'm going to go ahead and keep that bad boy. My play space is up here for some reason. I draw an Izzet Signet. Merieke Brainstorms. Dryad Arbor, which is like super huge there. I go ahead. Okay, so I go for the first turn in, or second turn in. Let's stop here real quick. Mainly because I don't want my stuff stolen by Merieke, and at least this way I know that I'll be able to kill her as soon as she comes out if necessary. Of course, you know, people get to draw a card when this happens, but I'm fine with that at this point. Merieke plays Reliquary Tower and a Signet. Zedruu does nothing. Jenara plays a land and does nothing. I go ahead and play my Signet. And honestly, like, if there was ever a time for Nin to attack, it would have been right there. Because I can't even use her ability right now. So I never came close to commander damaging anybody with Nin. But that would have been the time to attack. It's right there. Merieke Phyrexian metamorphs his Signet and doesn't play a land, so it looks like he kept kind of a risky hand. Zedruu comes out and does nothing. Jenara plays Reliquary Tower and Wood Elves to ramp a little bit. Getting Breeding Pool. I'm doing fine in the mana department. Okay, so this time I do decide to attack somebody, and I attack the Zedruu player. This is because I'm going to be playing Thassa, and I won't have any mana to attack. Thassa's a good card. So here we go. Jace's Archivist. Before it gets arrested, is a wheel card, essentially, where people can draw a ton of cards. You know, I remember now. He mills people out with the wheel effects. That's right. So it's interesting to see what happens. But Zedruu doesn't like it, so Zedruu puts arrest on it. No blocking or attacking, no activated abilities. Alright. So those shenanigans are halted. Jenara plays Prophet of Kruphix. The good thing is that I can put Charisma on Nin, ding the Prophet for 1, and steal her. Of course, that gives Jenara a card, but I'm fine with that. When I scry, I find... Well, he flashes out Solemn Simulacrum. When I scry, I find Gilded Drake on top of my library. So I decided to keep that as sort of like a backup plan, just in case something happens to Nin. Because while Charisma is cool, Nin has to stay out and play in order to really take advantage of it. The funny thing about Charisma is that it actually has enough devotion for Thassa to turn into a creature. And then I steal the Prophet. And I use Thassa to attack Merieke. And then I get to untap. Okay, so Merieke plays Mystic Remora, which is a great card against my deck because I'm not creature heavy. And it's a great card against the Zedruu deck, and you'll see why here in a little bit too. So Merieke sees what's happening and puts Pariah on Nin. So that all they have to do is attack Merieke once, and it'll cause problems. Now, Merieke still hasn't drawn a second land. Since I have an indestructible 5/5, now is the time for me to start tapping out, especially with Profit, to draw a ton of cards. So I go ahead and I ding Thassa for like 4 or something like that, or 3. And I draw into Counterspell, Fabricate, and Psychosis Crawler. So Faith's Fetters goes on Thassa, which is an interesting play, and I think the reason behind it was that the Zedruu player was expecting the Jenara player to attack the Merieke player and get rid of Nin. So he didn't want to waste the Fetters by enchanting Nin. And so that does give me the opportunity to draw 3 more cards, however. So I draw 3 more cards, and I get Rootwater Thief and Goblin Welder and another land. Let's go ahead and spread this out a little bit. Psychosis Crawler is going to be pretty good here soon, too. So, yes, he does do what's expected and attacks Merieke for 1, and then Solemn Simulacrum for 2. That's fine because... Oh, I flash out Goblin Welder because I've got a bunch of cards in hand now. And I flash out Rootwater Thief. I didn't go for the extra card draw just because I wanted to like dump my hand, basically. So this does kill off Nin, however, and I lose the Profit, and Thassa no longer has the Devotion going. Put it down here. Okay. And then he tries to capture of Jingzhu. I don't like him getting the extra turn. And what's going to start happening here is Merieke is going to start drawing cards. Because I'm going to counterspell the capture. And nobody can really pay the 4 mana that Mystic Remora requires. So there's a counterspell. The good thing is, like I said, I can use the Gilded Drake to steal the Profit back. So he flashes out Jenara right now. I scry, and I find Soul Ring on top of my library. I decide to keep that. I cast it, and Merieke's just going to draw a ton of cards off me here now. So there's the Soul Ring, there's the Gilded Drake. I steal the Profit back. He puts some counters on Jenara. I give him the Drake. And then I play Mimic Vat. And since I don't have any... creatures or artifacts in my graveyard, I just attack with my Welder. And I attack Zedruu with my Rootwater Thief because I just want to see what's in his library. Or, yeah. See what kind of deck he has. Oh, stop. No! Alright, well, I'm going to... Basically, it's an all enchantment deck. Like, every card in it is an enchantment. And there were so many enchantments that I decided to... go ahead and remove Celestial Dawn, because that's basically an I win card for him against me and or Merieke. So this is a real pain in the ass when you hand it off to other people. I mean, unless they're playing white, there's no real way to get rid of it. So I removed that card from the game with the Rootwater Thief. The problem with this is that Jenara conceded, which meant that I lost the Profit, which makes me sad, especially because I was really planning on drawing a ton of cards. So Merieke plays the upkeep on the Remora, plays Copy Artifact, copying the Soul Ring, and then plays Pursuit of Knowledge. Which is an interesting sort of draw card. It's basically if you draw 3 cards, instead you get to draw 7. So that's a fun card, actually, that rarely sees play, but is kind of fun. So Zedruu plays Treasure Trove. And again, because every card in his deck is an enchantment, you know, it's a card draw as an enchantment. Also, so now I'm going to use my Thief to attack Merieke, and I'm going to go slower this time. I think I attacked the Zedruu player at least once more. So we'll take a look at his deck when we see it. So I pay the 2 mana with the Thief. Here we go. Okay. So he's got like Arbiter of Nullridge because he doesn't care about life. Assault Monolith. The only black he has in here is for like Necropotence, Beseech the Queen. He does have Forbid and Foil. A decent amount of counter spells. Steel Enchantment, Mindbreak Trap. I mean, this is a pretty cool deck in all honesty. It's got a lot of different stuff going on. Windfall, Spellbook, Unbender Time, Final Judgment. Yeah, so I go ahead and steal something out of there with the Thief. Oh, I steal Aura of Silence. I'm not sure that's the best card, honestly, to steal. The reason I took Aura of Silence is because I've got a lot of artifacts that I like to play. But it would have definitely hosed the Zedruu player. So I don't know. But I put the Psychosis Crawler out there. And then I put Lightning Greaves on him. So it looks like Merieke let the Mystic Remora go and plays Return to Dust, targeting my Greaves and the arrest that was on his Archivist. So now the Archivist can activate, which is good and bad. I mean, I'll get a whole new hand here, and then I'll ding everybody with Psychosis Crawler, which is exactly what happens. He had Ulamog in his library, or in his hand, so he dumps the Ulamog. And because he had 9 cards in hand, I get to draw 9 cards, and I ding everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. He had 8 cards in hand. And I get to ding everybody for 8. And then he uses the Pursuit of Knowledge and sacrifices it to draw more cards. So, this hand isn't bad. It's a lot of land, but there's a lot of land in the deck. And then he plays his own Soul Ring and Voltaic Key and Pithing Needle, naming Mimic Vat. There's nothing under Mimic Vat, but I assume he just wants to keep me under control. So Zedruu's turn, he plays Price of Glory, which is kind of a red hate card for against counterspells. And then he plays Citadel of Pain, another red sort of hate card, which hurts you for every untapped land you have at the end of your turn. I'm at 40, Merieke's at 23, and Zedruu's at 30, but, you know, even with my mana drain, I don't think I really need it. So Jace is on the top of my library. I did not care about Jace, so I put, I scry him away, and I draw a Grim Monolith. So first I play the Monolith, and then I play Vandal Blast, Kicked, or Overloaded, or whatever. And that really wrecks the Merieke player, because all his mana was artifact-based. It also killed off a Simulacrum, I think. What did it... Oh, Phyrexian Metamorph. That's right. It killed off the Phyrexian Metamorph. So, that's kind of fun to have, right? So I use it to make another Psychosis Crawler. So I've got 2 6/6s now. And I attack... I send a whole bunch after Merieke, and I send my Root-Rotter Thief after Zedruu. So we're going to do it real slow again this time. Let's see what we can see in his deck. One more. I pay the 2. There we go. So yeah, he's got like Spear of Heliod and Soothsaying and Smoke. And land equilibrium. Martyr's Bond. I mean, it's just straight up like fun, goofy enchantments. So, at this point, what I take away from him is Illusions of Grandeur, because I know that I'm going to hit him hard next turn. Merike's at 7. What I really don't want him doing is trying to gain the life before he donates it. And then I end up tapping out. Okay. And I have a feeling that the Archivist is going to Windfall again. So I'm fine with losing this hand. Yeah, he does it. And actually, now that I think about it, he probably shouldn't have done it because it just kills him. It was death by Windfall, essentially. So it's me and the Zedruu player left. But I got a whole new hand, of which a bunch is land. And first he plays Ghostly Prison. He's setting up his defense now. And then he plays Frozen Aether, which hoses my Mimic Vat, but I no longer have the Metamorph on it because Merike's gone. So I scry away my Darksteel Ingot and draw into Trinket Mage. I play another land, and I've got to, pay 6 mana in order to attack with all 3 of these guys. Oh yeah, I played Wormcoil Engine. I forgot about him. But luckily I have the mana now, and I also want to remove something else from his library, and I remove Delusions of Mediocrity. Again, he's at 3, and I just don't want him gaining the life at this point. And I tap out so I don't get hit by Citadel of Pain, which is probably done. I get rid of Chain Reaction because I know his deck doesn't really have any creatures. And he's saying he was really close. Because it looks like he's got Planar Collapse, which is one of those fun, goofy cards that like destroys all the creatures. Another enchantment-based card. And then he draws a card with Treasure Trove, and then he plays Oath of Lieges, and he knows he's done. He's just tapping out all his stuff. So it doesn't really matter at this point. He's tapped out, and I've got enough mana to kill him. He's only at 3 life. Now he's at 2 because of the Psychosis Crawler. And that's the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's Nin in sort of action. It's got a lot of different moving parts, and it doesn't do any specific thing. But it was able to draw a decent amount of cards, and that helped a ton. All right, thanks, guys.